Hello everybody, and welcome back to this series on creating SSH keys and connecting to cloud instances with those SSH keys. In previous videos, we went to AWS, GCP, and DigitalOcean and created our instances. So we're going to start by connecting to our DigitalOcean instance from a Macintosh or a Linux machine. Windows users can skip ahead in the video to the Windows portion to learn how to do it from Windows. So let's begin. I'm going to open up a terminal, and I'm already in my .ssh directory, which is my hidden directory off of my root for Linux. If I do a directory listing, you'll see my two keys here. I don't need that public key. I already transferred it to our instance in the last several videos. However, for Windows users, you're not going to change directories. You're just going to wind up being here in your home directory. Now your prompt might look a little different, but that's okay. So I'll clear my screen and change directories to .ssh. Now, very simply, I'm going to do an SSH to create a secure shell. I'm going to do a -I, and I'm going to start typing in the name of the key that I created, which was ID_RSA. And then I'm going to tell it what the name of the user is that I want to connect as. Now, when we first bring up our instance for DigitalOcean, which is what we're using in this case, it's going to be root. And then the @, and then I'm going to connect to the external IP address that we recorded in our last video. So I'm going to bring up my notes, and I'm going to copy the external IP address of my instance in the cloud. And I'm going to copy it, come back to here, and right-click to paste it in, and I'm going to hit enter. What's going to happen is it's going to say, hey, I can't establish a connection with this system. It has this key, and you might match it, but I don't recognize it. Are you sure you want to do this? And since we know that we created this key, we're going to say yes. When we hit enter, it's going to say, okay, I permanently added this key to my known hosts, so in the future I won't ask you this again, and it's going to ask me for my passphrase. So I'm going to go back into my notes one more time, and I'm going to grab that passphrase that we created. I'm going to copy that into my clipboard. Make sure I'm back into my terminal by clicking. I'm going to right-click and hit enter. And I am now root on the test node 1 that we created. Everything worked as we wanted, and we are good to go. So we have successfully connected to DigitalOcean through a Macintosh or a Linux machine. So I'm going to go ahead and exit out of this. And I am now back on my local system, and we're good to go. And now for our Windows users. In the previous videos, we created our SSH key with that PuTTy gen. For this section where we actually want to connect to our box in the cloud, our instance in the cloud, we're going to double click on PuTTy. Now with PuTTy, what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our notes, and we're going to grab the external IP address of our remote instance that we recorded in the previous videos, and we're going to paste it into this host name or IP address. Make sure we're on port 22. We have SSH connected, and we're going to name this. I'm going to name it testnet 01 because we named our testnet node 01. So that's what I named the box before. You can use lowercase or uppercase. Let's use lowercase. And I'm going to go ahead and click the save, just so that I have it in here. I'm going to move down to the data underneath connection right here. I'm going to click on it, and in the auto login, I'm going to enter root, because that's the name of the user that I'm going to connect with. And then the last thing that I need to do is I need to go to the SSH section right here, expand it out, and click on the auth, which is right here. And then in the private key for this authenticator, I'm going to browse for my key. So I'll click on the browse, and in the top section, I'm just clicking on the little yellow icon, and I'm pasting in the location where my key is. Now this is a PuTTy private key, a .ppk, so it's already set to look for only PPK files. So the only thing that's going to show up is this Constellation test key that we created in the previous videos. So I'm going to choose it, and I'm going to say open. This box will populate with the location of my key. I'm going to now move up to the top, click on the session, and I'm going to save the session one more time. That way, all the settings that I have will persist, and I don't have to enter them in every single time that I open up PuTTy. I can cancel this, and I can go ahead and open up PuTTy. I'll find my test session, I'll load it, and then I'll hit open. When I click on the open, it's going to give me this warning saying, hey, I don't recognize this key. I've never connected to it before. Are you sure you want to do it? Well, we know that we're the ones who created it, and we did it right in this series, so it's pretty safe to assume that we're good here. So we'll accept. We'll go back to our notes, grab our private key, enter it in, and hit enter. And we're in. A little bit small here because I don't have my screen set up, but if you have poor eyesight like me, you can change the settings. You can go to Windows, Appearance, and you have your font. You can change your font to, let's say, 14 and apply it. And here we have access to our node, and we're good to go. If I click exit, I'm out, and I'm back to where we started from. So this concludes this video. We've now created SSH keys, a private and a public. We have imported them into our instance in Digital Ocean, which we created in previous videos, and we successfully connected to it. I want to thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next video.